And this is the minute. A garage fire displaced more than 60 animals in Martinez. This happened on Barber Lane. You can see debris everywhere and several animal carriers on the driveway. Crews say the fire is not suspicious, but no word yet on the actual cause. The dogs survived uninjured. In Alameda County, ACE train service is getting back on track after a rock slide stranded hundreds of commuters for hours in Niles Canyon. The train was traveling toward Fremont along the rain-swollen Alameda Creek. A rescue train pushed the stranded cars back to the Pleasanton station. Family members of victims of the alleged Stockton serial killer appeared in court for a short hearing in the case. 43-year-old William Brownlee is charged in 8 shootings in Stockton and Oakland. Tuesday, a judge approved a subpoena for his educational records going back to 1992. And I'm Juliette Goodrich with the Minute.
All right, let's put a couple of headlines on what to expect over the next few days. Cool nights, in fact, cold nights. We're going to be down in the mid-30s for many of our colder valleys and low 30s over the next couple of mornings. Light rain on Wednesday. It's coming through the second half of the day. It's not really going to be a lot, but it's rain nonetheless, and so that's important. Let's time it out and put some detail on it. That's a really well put together cold front that's going to march its way into the North Bay by the time we get to about the 4 o'clock hour. It stays in the North Bay through much of the evening commute. It doesn't really get to the Golden Gate till around 8 o'clock or so, and then from 8 o'clock to about 11, it marches its way down the peninsula, East Bay shoreline, and South Bay. We're done by about 11 in the morning with that one. And if we put some rainfall totals on it, we get as much as 4/10 of an inch of rain falling with this one in the North Bay, and perhaps about 1/10 of an inch of rain that will fall for the South Bay. Beautifully outlined here when you look at the winds. You can actually see where the cold front is. It comes through right here. That's Wednesday at 8, and then that was when we'll probably see our 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts, but nothing terribly intense with it. I still think those winds will be strong enough from a down tree perspective. That's going to be a concern with this. Even though there's no wind advisory, 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts through Wednesday evening is enough to take more trees down. Big concern with that anytime when we see the winds that strong. So be aware of your surroundings tomorrow night as the wind comes through. Morning lows around 40, maybe some mid to upper 30s. Daytime highs on Wednesday are just a few degrees below average for this time of year. We can take a look at all the numbers on here. We're mid to upper 50s for most of the South Bay. Inland East Bay communities will be in the mid 50s. We'll see temperatures right through the heart of the bay coming in the mid 50s. And the North Bay valleys will also see their temperatures here in the low 50s. And in the 7-day forecast, no more rain after Wednesday. And the daytime highs don't change much. You know what does stand out temperature-wise is the morning lows. We're going to be getting down into the low 30s in our coldest North Bay valleys and upper 30s for most of the rest of the bay.
The rain might be gone for now, but we are still in the middle of major storm repairs, fixing sinkholes, clearing rock slides, mudslides, and downed trees while it's still dry. Take a look at these pictures from the Berkeley Firefighters Association. Mud pushing through a home in the Berkeley Hills. Some people there don't know when they can go back home. Chris Van Cleve has the latest.
This is just all our backyard area. We had a barbecue over there.
Marjorie Cruz and her husband woke up to the roar of cascading mud slamming into their Berkeley, California home of more than 20 years.
It was very terrifying when it started because it's trees and debris.
Mud piling up to their roof, breaking through their home and flowing into their backyard, wiping out their patio and shed.
It's pretty sobering, you know. 23 years, we haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything like that here where it's actually taken out a home.
More than 500 landslides like this one have occurred statewide since the new year, and more than 100 slides between just Sunday and Monday alone. Fire crews in Santa Cruz captured this dramatic scene as a road collapsed, the asphalt buckling and crumbling down a hillside.
The danger doesn't just stop once the rain stops.
David Montgomery is a professor of geomorphology at the University of Washington.
For some of the deeper, larger landslides where it takes longer time for that water to seep down to the layers that are destabilized, it can take weeks and sometimes even months for the danger to really be passed.
I got it.
In San Diego, rising waters remained a problem. Search and rescue teams worked to reach at least 7 people along the raging San Diego River as the rains flooded roadways and toppled trees.
In the middle of the night, heard a big crash. Pretty crazy. Lucky no one got hurt.
Experts say the persistent cycle of wildfires and drought here in California has actually increased the mudslide risk after the torrential rains have stopped. Cleanup is beginning. That could take weeks. Repairs could go on for months. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Ojai, California.
And this is some of the strangest storm damage we've seen. Part of a concrete structure that stood since World War II fell 200 feet off a cliff at Fort Funston. It used to be a battery bunker. Thankfully, nobody was standing on the beach below when it crashed down Monday. One of the most frustrating problems for drivers, the potholes. Our Devin Feely spoke with two drivers who were among the dozens whose vehicles were damaged by a single pothole on the peninsula.
Expensive, inconvenient, and disruptive to their lives. That's how drivers are describing the damage to their cars caused by potholes on both sides of Highway 101 on the peninsula. Kyle and Megan Murray were returning from a wet but wonderful weekend of camping in Half Moon Bay when their ride home got a bit bumpy.
It was just boom, boom, and then we were like, okay, we need to get over, and we were able safely to get over, safe as possible, and, you know, we called AAA.
Both tires on the driver's side of the car had been damaged by a pothole on the southbound side of Highway 101 in Redwood City.
One of the wheels has to be replaced, it's completely damaged, and then the tire needs to be replaced.
Kyle and Megan were not alone on that very same stretch of Highway 101, but in the northbound direction near the Woodside Road exit, as many as 20 cars and drivers had their tires damaged by a massive pothole there.
When I hit the pothole, or whatever it was huge. Felt like the whole car jumped off the ground.
Demetrius Beauchamp's tire was flattened and his rim bent by the force of the impact.
It really shook the car, so if there was someone next to me, I might have hit him because I was in both lanes basically by the time I got control of the car again.
For Kyle and Megan, whose car limped into a nearby repair shop on its spare tire, the news just got worse and worse. Both front and back wheels would have to be replaced, the tires too.
Both of us have jobs. We only have one car right now, and so I need to get it fixed as soon as possible so that we can, continue to go to our works.
He says he plans to explore the possibility of getting reimbursed by Caltrans for the damage, but that's further down what's already proven to be a bumpy road.
If it's something I could be reimbursed for, absolutely. Yes, that would be fantastic, yes.
If the damage is under $10,000, drivers can apply directly to Caltrans for reimbursement, and that includes the cost of towing, roadside assistance, repairs, and new equipment like tires and wheels.
In Alameda County, neighbors are pleading for help with a toll threat in Castro Valley. You can see where this massive eucalyptus tree fell onto a home, slicing it in half and sending a father of 4 children to the hospital. It was one of 2 trees that came crashing down onto homes last week along Kelly Canyon Creek between Sandy and Madison Avenue. Now neighbors are worried about the ones still standing. They've signed a petition, and as I found out, they're scrambling to figure out who's responsible before the next tree falls.
He got pinned under the tree.
Pinned under a eucalyptus tree that came crashing into their Castro Valley home. And now Heather Gonzalez's husband is recovering in the hospital and isn't supposed to get out for months.
Literally, he was on the second part of the house over there. So he was in the living room and the tree crossed my kitchen and living room. And then my children and I were on that side and my oldest was on this side.
Is it hard to look at this?
Absolutely. I mean, this is our home. This is where we've made memories. It's very hard. I'm just glad he's alive.
Just to give you a lay of the land, you can hear the creek right now. This is Kelly Canyon Creek. Neighbors telling me they have never seen it this full. And then take a look at the results of the house here.
You know, Heather and her family have gone through an unimaginable tragedy, and where's the help? Why is the tree still in her house?
Now, neighbors who only met because of unfortunate circumstances are banding together to take action and raise awareness about the public safety hazard. They put together a petition to send to the county and have close to 1,000 signatures.
It's gaining awareness. People are signing it, they're reading it, they're understanding that these are threats.
These trees are at risk right now. There's trees right beside the one that fell, and homeowners have left their homes because they are fearful.
So now I'm at the front of Heather's home. We were on the back side where you could see the rushing creek. This is the tree that sliced right through her home when her husband was home and her 4 children.
Ideally, you respond, the tree service responds immediately because it's an emergency.
But Gates says tree services are already slammed, responding to hundreds of other emergencies. And then there is this predicament. Problem is, for a lot of these people, it's expensive, and they're wondering whose responsibility is it?
That's exactly right. It's a hot potato. I don't want it. It's your tree. No, it's your tree. And they'll have to settle that out. Eventually, somebody's going to have to do something.
Fortunately, Heather and her 4 children and their rabbits made it out safely. They're living with family in the area.
I don't know, how long it's going to take to get back into our home, if we even want to go back there. If these trees are here, we can't return. There's no way. It's unsafe. It's terrifying to remember.
We did put in a call into Alameda County Supervisor Nate Miley's office asking what residents in the area are supposed to do. Their office says to check with insurance, and they will be covering this in their Board of Supervisors meeting next week. In the Sacramento region, the area now beginning to clear out after major flooding. Streams were rushing, roads were closed, and trees were ripped out of the ground. Some roads looked more like rivers, park benches submerged, ducks swimming where they'd normally have to fly. You can stay up to date with the latest forecast and storm-related damage and closures streaming 24/7 on CBS News Bay Area and on our website, KPIX.com. Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, how a local woman who nearly died while giving birth is getting a chance to thank the strangers who saved her life. Plus, we have seen a lot of downed trees with all of the severe weather. See how one small business is turning the trees into treasures. And it was put up to deter graffiti, but a beloved community mural has now been defaced in San Jose, and business owners worry it won't be the only one.